Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Is there life on other planets? Scientists may be one step closer to an answer.
There's very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
Tom, what are we talking about?
All right. Well, we got a good episode. I actually have my co-host back, so this one will be of a realistic length, you know, and somebody else.
Some might say better.
I wouldn't use that term, but
I sure would.
Yeah. All right. So look, this is a great way, I think, to just start these fucking things off. Okay. Ronnie, like I got some cool UFO footage.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I sure do. And I want to show you two videos. One was taken in Cuba.
Yeah.
The other one somewhere else. I'm not quite certain, but
Was it
both of these look like not that the craft shape is exact, but look similar in means of propulsion, different from other UFOs that I have seen.
Okay.
All right, so let's show you the first one that we got right here, and let's see what you think about this one, Ronnie. So this one, when I get it pulled up here in a second, is gonna be the one that took place over Cuba. And then look at this thing, huh, Ronnie? And you'll just watch this thing just doing its thing, Ronnie. Watch how this fucking thing just. Okay, here we go. We got spinning going on, right?
Is it actually spinning though, or do you think that's maybe just the
Well, watch this. I mean, look
form of propulsion that we're seeing?
Yeah, or coming in and out of nothingness. I don't know what that is, but look at how this thing just forms.
See, because it's not actually like spinning itself. There's something in the center that's spinning.
Right.
So that could be kind of like the, you know, how we have rotors on a helicopter? That could be kind of like their sense of propulsion, which we haven't really seen. A lot of the times that we do see these crafts, it's always... So I'm saying we don't know how they're moving.
And if you want to get real sci-fi with it, these things is how it would kind of look if you're coming in and out of nothingness. Like kind of teleportation almost, you know. I just thought that one's really, really cool because of the fact that, you know, it's different. It's different from the other UFOs that we've seen.
Right.
And just the way it spins. Now, how about this one? How about this one, Ronnie? What do we think about this? This one looks like it's flaming on fire.
It could just be a reflection from the sun, though. I mean, you stick something metal up that high in the air, there's gonna.
No, I mean that's a look.
Reflection.
I mean that's some sort of craft.
Well, yeah, but the flaming part, like I said, could just be reflecting off of that, whatever type of material that is.
It looks like turbines, Bun.
Does it? What has turbines all the way across the entirety of itself?
Something not of this planet. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't know how it would work. Explain yourself.
What do you mean, explain myself? You're the one that needs to explain yourself.
Do I?
Yes, all I said was that it looks like a reflection from the sun on a type of material.
But
now, that is much more thought out and thorough than fucking saying, oh, well, it's propulsion. It's something all over the fucking outside of this crap.
I think it's engines on the back of
it.
it.
Hey, maybe it's exploding.
I think it's engines on the back of it, you know? I also think that people really like that I put up these videos, you know? Of
Calm down.
Of the UFOs, you know? Oh, man. I mean, as far as alien talk goes, we had a blockbuster of a week. Wow. New whistleblower in town.
Yep, it sure is. What was that man's name?
David Grusch.
Yeah, Mr. Grusch.
Yep, David Grusch. And now here's the difference. Now he says, for one, whistleblower, was in many different levels of the government, but also while some people who have been whistleblowers in the past can kind of get outed as being kooks, or what are they saying, or they might have been military, but now they're older and retired. Nobody kind of cares about.
They're more discredited.
Yeah, that's more discredited now. This guy's very verified. This guy
still active military.
Yeah. So I think now he's not, but only as of April. He's an Afghanistan war veteran. Was in the United States Air Force, and also more importantly, high clearance level in government intelligence. So this guy has secrets and knows people, rubs shoulders with people that hold secrets.
Man goes tip to tip with people's secrets.
Yeah, he rubs shoulders with other people as well that have secrets of the United States. When you're in, when you're in government intelligence, and naturally that's what happens. So his background checks out really well. So they're taking him very serious on the stuff he says. So even the doubters of what he's saying, nobody has come out and really said we think he's lying. Just more that, if anything, he had been lied to, So he's a very credible source.
Wasn't there a statement release or something? Who was it that released that? Well, saying like this person's stuff is founded off of whatever. Let me try to look that up so I'm not saying anything wrong.
Great, Ronnie.
It was in the interview that he did that you had sent me, the video of the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was near the end of it where there was a statement.
Basically what he says is that we have a secret crash retrieval program that he was told about. Crashes of objects not made of this world, craft. They go to the crash. They want to hear about the crash. Where did it take place? They go there and they try to retrieve the objects. Supposedly, they have between 9 to 12 of these things under the Biden administration right now. And he also goes on to say that basically, he was frustrated because also, here's another thing this guy was a part of, is the UAP task force. So he was investigating these things. And he had heard from multiple different sources that he has known his whole career and trusts, that they were a part of this secret crash retrieval program. And that they told him, they named the program to him. Now, when this happened, he didn't go off and do this interview. I've been reading up on this. Right. Before he ever did this interview, he took the name of that program he was given, which is classified, of course. Of course. But he took this to Congress already. Took it with the name of the program, with files that he was given, and names of people and what their claims had been. And if you have the name of the program and you have the name of government employees that could be a part of a otherwise secret program, it wouldn't be secret anymore. If you have the name of the program, you can follow the money. You can follow the money. You can follow the names of these people and what they are a part of and who they are under in what branch of military. And you can sort this thing out. And people are taking him quite serious. Now, on the Hill, right?
Yeah. So
he's there's people that doubt him, but as I said, they're not really saying that he is, like that he would be a liar. Just that he could be being fed misinformation.
Possibly. So I did find what I was looking for here, and it was a response from the Pentagon.
Okay. Yeah, they said they found nothing.
Yeah, today Arrow has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate
claims. And so that's from Arrow, which is the public, publicly funded now, not secretive UAP task force that investigates UAPs, UFOs.
Yeah, they're just saying nothing.
But that fits with his story because he says that he was frustrated that when he was a part of the UAP task force,
Yeah.
they were denied access to this program when he had heard about it.
Right.
And supposedly, do you one better, supposedly, they didn't tell him this program doesn't even exist. They just straight told him, you don't have access to that program.
Yeah. Although Arrow does state that they welcome the opportunity to speak with any former or current government employee. Believes they have
Yada
information.
yada with Arrow, you know. I mean,
yeah, usually.
I want to. Here's
that
what's
was
gonna.
a soon go Department of Defense.
Here's what's gonna be.
Stuff.
Here's what's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. What's
What do they do with this information now? What do we see come of this story that just came out in headlines because the interview was recent? But this stuff is going through, and there's going to be a Congress hearing with Arrow to talk about this. I hope that they literally have David Grusch there to give his testimony. He has gone with like a very, very, very high-powered attorney and multiple other people to the Hill with this information, literally thinking and saying himself he is here at great risk to his own well-being. Because if any of this stuff is true, and we could take the alien aspect out of this exact topic, but when you talk about very secretive,
kind of
classified things,
yeah.
that's no joke, and they'll haul you away or you'll never be heard of again. Many, many different times in history has already happened. We've already touched on some of them on this podcast.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's what Area 51 is. It ain't got nothing to do with aliens. They just take everybody who fucking comes up, decides to be a whistleblower, and they just lock them up over there.
It's something to seriously be concerned about, you know? And so him making these claims, I think, is real interesting, not just because of what the claims are, but now listen, I don't jump directly in to believe everything 100%. But I mean, Ronnie, I'll tell you this: like, I will say this. I want to actually get your take on this. But let me say that you guys know. I mean, me and Ronnie both believe there's life on many other planets, many, and intelligent life and stuff. And then when you talk about have they come here, I kind of do believe that. And so with my line of belief, you would have to have one of these programs. If I'm saying I believe that there's very possibly multiple different times been literally unidentified flying objects in the sky, not of this world, incredible looking craft flying around, and we're filming it. Now we're getting we've had all these government programs to investigate them. Man, if you live in that world, then you're living in a world where they have a secret program that takes these vehicles when they crash or they find them or shoot them down or whatever it is.
Right.
They're not leaving them alone. When we heard about the Chinese balloon and shit flying around the sky, and then they made a big deal about they filmed it, they put it all over the news.
Yeah.
Woo! Look at that, we shot it down. You can watch the balloon blow up 1,000,000 times because they know it's a Chinese balloon, but. The other one shot down over the lake. They say it's unidentified. This one maybe wasn't a balloon. It's unidentified. But it shot down and it fell in the lake. And then we just left it. And nobody cares to go in and investigate these things.
I think they ended up getting that one too.
Look that up.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anything about that. And I think if you are living, if you're living in a world where we can say that there's unidentified flying objects flying all around, and you have governments that are investigating these things, spending a lot of money on investigating these things, and they, if not of this planet, they would be of incredibly, vastly different, sure advanced, but in general different technologies. You'd have to have a program that goes to get them. There was 2.
So February 10th over Alaska, and then February 12th over Lake Huron. No debris was found in either of these cases. But
don't say.
But something was shot down over
You
both.
don't say, but they found no debris. I don't believe that.
Statement released
and
by
I think that
Norcom and NORAD.
I think that those are specifically perfect examples of what I'm talking about, where you didn't find any debris. What are you talking about?
It's a lake. You can go to a bottom of a lake. It's not the ocean.
Yeah. What are they talking about? They took the time to send jets out and shoot these things down, but you won't send a fucking diver down there to see
even if
what it was, dude.
Even if it is a Chinese spy balloon or anything,
They'd want to know that.
They would have to know that.
They
couldn't just leave that type of technology in a lake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't do that. Not even leaving that tech. You want to know, is it from China and they're trying to spy on us? Is this something from Russia?
Especially in this
is it a highly advanced UFO fucking crash site?
You know what it was? Apparently nothing.
Yeah.
They shot down nothing and recovered nothing.
Yeah, I just you gotta I do believe this. And then what I'm not jumping to conclusions about is the David Grusch itself in this specific instance.
I was even skeptical at first when I
where is he? Yeah, I know. You know, and I'm not going to jump to conclusions in this very specific case and about David Grusch to say I fully believe 100%, but I'm definitely open to it, and that is because overall, I definitely believe, dude, that if the government's spending money on these things, investigating them, and this is we go to great lengths to like figure out what great lengths and spend human lives and money to see what technologies do other countries have that are at the cutting edge of technology. What do they got going on? And they're basically like ours, but this gun reloads a little faster. That we would kill. We would fucking
just to be able to reload a little faster.
We would literally to know they could do that, or be like, how do they do that? Because we can make it a little better. Do you really think that if they fucking found a UFO ever in the history of time, Roswell 47, any of these times up to present day, if they ever had a fucking the Corona crash where supposedly a live alien was taken out of, and there's lots of stories about that we'll get into as well.
Yeah, why would we release that?
You wouldn't put, dude, if they found one of these things. There is no debate about, like, if you say they found one, they're keeping it a secret. 1,000%. They don't go, sure, you guys can't come and put your hand. I mean, it's in secure facility, but here's a bunch of pictures of the thing. Because that's how fucking the world works, right? We're going to give you twice a week updated press conferences on our findings of this. Yeah. We didn't even get those UAP videos until 7 years later. Those 2017 fucking videos were from like 2004 and 2006. Yeah. You know, that's not the way that shit works. So they would do this, and I definitely can wrap my head around that. Obviously makes sense, man.
If we were to just be like, oh yeah, we found this super advanced piece of technology, obviously every other country around would be like, well, now we're gonna try and take it.
Yes.
And it would cause a big old...
Now I'll do you one better, now that we got to that point. That's a perfect segue. And he also says that within all this information that he has gotten from multiple different sources that don't know each other, all naming the same secret program.
Yeah. Hey, could this be like... If anything does come about from David Grusch and it does start a war, he would be held personally responsible.
Let me get to this point. His point that's very much attached to this is that he's talking about our government having a secret program. He basically says that these things have crashed all over the world, and the reason we have a program and that it's our secret program. China has their own program, Russia has their own program, Britain has their own program, and everybody has their own programs like this that collect these things and try to back engineer them. And basically, and this is quoting him, an 80-year publicly unknown Cold War for the race for this technology and back engineering it and figuring it out. And that sounds crazy,
right?
But not so crazy, because here's the thing. What did Bob Lazar say about the back engineering of these things? They couldn't do it. And the people before him couldn't do it. And nobody's been able to do it. So if you couldn't make it, That would be the thing. For those of you out there that would think that, well, sure, they might keep it a secret, but then they make it, then it comes out, it would have come out. No, not if we can't back engineer it. Not if nobody's been able to replicate one with our materials here and make our own working one. No, nobody would know about it because somebody needs to be able to back engineer this technology first. In that case, they need to be able to do it one good time first, so that they have one, and then it would still probably be secret until they need to maybe use it. But if not,
even if they were to back engineer it and everything, there's no guarantee that it would be a proper backward engineer, right? So
yeah, but supposedly they can't. Supposedly. This stuff is so different.
There's tools and everything from ancient times that we thought were used for some things, and then we figured out, like, oh, no, it was actually used for this.
Perfect example, yes. And that's what I mean. So that's why even before I said, everybody talks about, like, advanced technology. Sure, if it could be advanced.
Yeah. Where's the wires?
Yes. But my whole thing is that, sure, it could be advanced, but you never know, man. We talked about this before, if you remember, Ronnie. Like, my whole thing is that maybe they would come here and we go, wow, look at how they propel. Maybe they would look at how we blow engine, fuel out the back to make some go, or our cars, and be like, wow, it's so different. You're advanced. It might just be that it's so different.
Yeah.
So you could say advanced. They could look at it as not as advanced. But if it's too different from everything that we have here, the materials, the way their evolution works.
They could be taking energy from plasma or from gravitation
if it's too
or
different,
frequency.
we couldn't do it.
Anything like that, which are full concepts that we have here on Earth, but we're just like, oh, that's nothing that we can do right now.
Yeah, so you would say advanced.
Too foreign to us.
It's too foreign. It's just too different, maybe, and that would make sense. Bob Lazar is saying, listen, the metals in the ship were strange, but that didn't really matter because we can build metals that can go into space, that can travel fast, so it didn't need to be those, and we can build the entire fucking craft. And even their anti-gravity, they figured out, with the bottoms matching the top, how it did work. They knew how it worked. Yeah. But the element 115 being condensed, that creates anti-gravity purposes to it, is the whole thing that makes it work. And that one part we can't do is what Bob Lazar in that scenario said. So if you take this and you say, whether it's that same craft stuff, whether it's a different kind of technology, if we couldn't make it, then we would be in an arms race to figure it out. We would be in to quote David Grusch, an 80-year-long unknown to the public
informational
Cold War.
Yeah. Which, that's fair. But it just doesn't make sense to me, man. We all of us as humans have an innate curiosity for everything. When it comes to space and everything like that, all of us want to get there. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why it has to be such a race to get there when we could all just put our brightest minds across the world and fucking actually get there instead of fighting over the superiority of being the first.
To me, it's so impressive that we can, but to me, I look at it and say, I guess it's the money it costs to do it, really. But it's like, or the funding. NASA was like, we're gonna shut down. When I look at it, even what we can do and getting to space, it is very impressive. It is, but
people need to make a sacrifice for the greater good and quit being greedy.
And you say a race. It doesn't even seem like that to me because, we went to the moon supposedly way back then. We now are just
but we're all still in some kind of
now we're like,
weird
we did it, we don't need to do it again. They're like, oh, maybe we'll do it in the next couple years again. And then they're like, satellite stuff. The only cool stuff that they were doing is like landing the thing on Mars that could fly. But it's like, how long does all this stuff take? I know it's impressive. Like, of course, I don't know how to do any of it, but I'm just saying, like, if you can do it, why does it need to take so long? Why can't the next advancement? Why can't we get a person out there? Why?
Where? What are you talking about?
Mars.
Mars?
Yeah.
Well, right now, that's kind of what we're trying to do with the Artemis missions.
It takes it takes so fucking long, and
it's all about fuel reserves. We don't have enough fuel and the means to get that far right now. That's why we're looking at ways to circle our own gravitational pull to launch us, and then circle and launch from station to station. But this whole Artemis mission is kind of one of the first steps in that, is to try and get the base operations and everything to make a base on the moon. And then from that base on our moon, we'll launch from there to another place that's closer. And that's what we try to keep doing.
Yeah.
As long as it has a foundation that we can actually land on.
I just get frustrated with the world sometimes, Ronnie, and I want things to be done faster.
I, for one, want to make sure that we get inside Uranus.
Wow.
They said we're going to be taking a deeper look soon.
Wow.
Like that?
All right, back to Big Daddy Grusch. Let's wrap that up. I think. What is your whole take on him? Do you believe him?
Me?
Let me preface it. Do you believe him that he heard all of this stuff from multiple and has been given us information, which he himself says is a lot of info, but he himself says, I'm not a part of the thing, and I wasn't having my hands on these craft and stuff. But do you believe him, his story, what he says, what he's been told? So
when I watched the interview and everything, my first takeaway from it, no, I did not. It seemed just like a man up there trying to get some type of fame for an interview off of something
He's
that
smiling a lot and
smiling
stuff.
a lot. He sounds so cocky in his responses and everything that makes you look at him like,
he's an Afghanistan war veteran.
Yeah. So he's traumatized,
and he has a high.
So he has PTSD and a history of some type of.
He has a very high clearance in the government intelligence.
So why is he not in the military anymore?
He was in the military. He didn't get
as of April. Though,
as of April, he retired himself.
He retired,
and he had heard all of this long before that. Actually,
for sure.
So he decided that while he was a part of the before he retired, he launched this to Congress, brought this information about.
So what I can say on it from my own thought process, if he's up there already risking his life just doing that one interview, why would you have not brought any and all information you already had at your fingertips to said interview?
Because there's a very good reason for that.
There is not. If he thinks that he is going to be harmed or silenced in any way possible, he had that one chance then and there.
He's trying not to be, but there is a very good.
He had that one chance right then and there to release anything and everything.
The way that things work, right? This is the way things work. Honest to God, this is because this has a lot to do with the overall UFO subject. And I do know about this stuff. This is not unlike everything else in UFO subject. So, when you have something that is classified and secretive, it's actually a crime. It's a crime to have it declassified. And also when you're
but if you're putting your life at risk, what's it matter if you're committing a crime?
It's technically illegal and a crime, but also, even maybe more importantly, for these military guys, this is stuff that are the rules of the country. They kind of really value that thing. So, what isn't a crime, or what's actually said in the way of being a patriot, is to take, even though that branch. Everything in the government is categorized. You know what? So it's like everything is. Air Force has their information. If it's
get to your point.
No, listen. They. no, listen.
Okay.
They have their information. The Navy has theirs. The Congress has theirs. These things are not connected in the way that you think they are, unless they need to be, and it's brought about like legally. Like, there's a need to know between things. So when something's classified, he brought it he went to do the interview and say this, okay? That he has information. Now, he didn't name the name of the program, name the name of the sources of the people, bring the files, bring the picture. He didn't do any of that stuff in the interview. And the reason is because that would technically, first off, is very highly illegal. And also is not, it's not patriotic. Now, what is actually...
What does that matter when you're risking your life?
Matters everything to these guys.
Yes, but you're risking your life, right? He thinks he's risking his life by just doing that interview.
So if you go and you put this stuff on an interview, if you got privy to some secretive information and the way he's going about this in the right way.
That's not my point. That's not my point.
What you do is you bring this information through the government channels that also
you mean the one that's trying to silence him?
No, because Congress, again, it's all compartmentalized. So Congress and the Senate and the government itself, the President of the United States, all these people all throughout time with this subject and other ones, certain other ones, they get frustrated because there are organizations like, for instance, the NSA, the certain organizations where you can be the President of the United States, you can be a congressman, you can be anybody, you can go through the right chains, you can be a citizen with the Freedom of Information Act, and these things just don't apply. So, to certain organizations. So even the President of the United States can be told no. Okay. So the reason why Congress would like to hear this is because they are not the ones trying to silence him. They are the ones that say, we want this information, God damn it. Is there information out there on this? We want to find out about it. There's all the time military officials like this guy who get frustrated because they say, we weren't granted access to this. Right. You've heard presidents of the United States get frustrated. We weren't granted access to that. They're not the ones trying to silence them, so that's why it goes through Congress and goes through the chain like you're supposed to, the chain of command, the people that say they want to know, and present them with the evidence and let them have a hearing about it.
You know who wants to know? The people of humanity. Yeah. We want to know. So what does it matter going through channels and everything when you think you're about to risk your life? Just to do an interview.
Well, if you did that interview and you brought all that stuff up, I bet you that they probably wouldn't even have a hearing about you because you'd be committing a treasonous act.
Okay, but so again, that's not my point. Congress I don't care about the Congress hearings, any of that, Tom. That's not my point at all. Well, that's you're getting way too fucking ahead of it and being like, oh, well, he's going through the proper channels. Yes, that's very nice. That's very nice. But if he thought he was risking his life just by doing that one little interview, why would you not risk it all?
He wasn't. I don't think he's saying he was risking his life doing the interview. I think it was doing the interview mainly more bringing this into Congress and being out in the open about trying to get this information through Congress to have them have a hearing where they'll demand the names of and follow the money. It's a dangerous thing that he has started here. If it happens to be true, it's definitely a dangerous thing that he did. But if it's true, but yeah, you don't go and throw all the stuff in the interview. You know why else? You saw an interview, right? Let me say this. You saw an interview with him where he said all this fantastical shit that sounds, wow, is this really true? I would love to know. Please tell me, show me the evidence, right? And then
I can't do that.
And then he didn't.
Yeah.
And so you're frustrated. Now, let me tell you this, and I know this. I don't need to ask you because I know this. And I know it for me, I know it for you, and I know it for every person alive. If he did the interview and he brought paperwork that he has and he said, here it is, and look at these names, and they said, this is the name of the program. It's a secretive program that even I haven't heard of, so it's just going to be a name, right? That you can't follow the money, that doesn't mean much to you. If he showed you pictures or videos, which we see all the time, you would still say, Tom, you would still say, this is unsatisfactory. No, I don't think, not just you personally, I'm not tagging you, but I'm saying,
no, I get what you're saying.
People would still be like, it literally wouldn't even add meaning to his interview. It literally wouldn't even add meaning. How many pictures and videos do I show you and we put on here? How many eyewitness testimony? How many of these things? Does it really matter? Does it really matter?
the voice of a person.
Does it really matter?
In a sense,
it wouldn't have added anything.
Some
to his
people
testimony.
would be able to look into that program, no matter how secret it is. Like really good fucking hackers, anything like that, that can get into government databases. Those types of people can look into those,
but
and they can leak.
That's the job. That's the job that Congress can do if they should try if they choose to even try.
But even
to
Congress
investigate
is
into
limited
this,
by,
they can do it.
Yeah, even Congress is limited by its own government.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's the way it's all compartmentalized, like I was saying. So it is a very tricky subject. And you say overcomplicated, but it is a very complicated subject. It's the reason why we can have these conversations, because there is an answer to all these things like that that are like, well, Jesus, like everybody wants this. Everybody, if you and me walked out right now when we're done with this, we went outside. And there's a flying saucer that's the size of a city block, 4 feet in the air, and we both film it. And there's 12 other people, 13, 15 other people from around. They're like, oh my God. And then we all film this thing. There's been events like that more times than you can count. Right. Supposedly, right?
Supposedly, yeah.
There's been all those. So when people think like, oh, I need all this information, you don't really know it, because your own mind, some skepticism is healthy, but when you are like skeptical about everything, and then you tell yourself any video can be doctored, anything can be lied about, any paperwork can be made, we can do anything, then you will never know what to believe about anything in life. So when it's like, oh, I need this, I need that,
saying?
You wouldn't need anything.
History is always written by the winners.
Yeah, that's a good saying.
Sure is.
It's a good saying. It's very true as well, because that's the thing, is that's so true, dude. It's so true. It's like whoever can paint the narrative, and that more people believe, that is what it is. That's what that saying means.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the truth of it. So anyways, to wrap that, I personally don't think that it would have added anything for you like you think it would have if he named the name of the program.
For me personally, it wouldn't have done anything for me.
It wouldn't have done anything
more
than what it was.
But to some people that are much smarter and have a lot more like technological know-how than I do, it could have meant a lot to those guys.
Yeah. I will stand by my statement about these guys that are like, not just like, oh, he was in the army. Like, which is respectable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not paying. That's
There's a
respectable.
lot of douchebags in the army.
No, it's respectable very much.
But
either way,
thank you.
You did a service, but what I'm getting at is this guy was a high, he's an Afghanistan war veteran from one. He's also in the Air Force, which is said to have known
Hey, what
about.
kind of war veteran was he again?
Which is said to have known about a lot of this stuff. Is literally like all through time as the Air Force. They're the ones to have known about a lot of stuff, and literally a higher up with a high government clearance level in the intelligence business. So that alone is like, so this guy is literally like. These people, whether they do evil, a lot of them do evil shit, dude. But I promise you, whether they do really good or very evil shit, these people that are high up like this, being like a patriot really fucking matters to them. Yeah. That is what matters to them, dude. What they think is right, even if it's wrong. It really does. I stand by that.
That's
fair. I'm telling you. It matters more when you're saying like, oh, who cares, you're doing the interview. He wants to do this the right way. And
based off his own morals.
So and then to end it, I'll say that I do believe that he believes what he's saying. I believe him. I'm not sure because everything is so complicated. Yeah. If for some reason he was fed some disinformation,
which has happened in the past, which we have discussed on here before.
Yes, and that happens all the time. Yeah. You know, the entire why would the government spend so much money investigating that I always ask as my favorite proof of this shit is also, on the other hand, said to be the biggest disinformation thing that has ever gone on, that started long ago and has carried on to drag people's attention away from other subjects and bring up the UFO thing.
I mean, yeah, we're
at crucial times in history.
I was going to say, we're in the height of a war right now between Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a hell of a lot going on in our world right now.
They say that, and in all fair, because we give both sides, they say that those videos, those famous 3 videos, do you know why they're famous? That were released from the Air Force and from the government. They got leaked and then agreed to be released, with many people being involved in getting them released. And they are the first so-and-so proof. And it's stamped by the government. And we've never had that happen before. A lot of people say that that's very specifically done because it's never been done before by the government to do this. That they wanted to get those videos out there and have this narrative go in the news. And the reason being is because it wasn't like this interview with David Grusch through like, I think it's like the Daily News or something like that, or a Channel 8 thing, or anything like this. That was through the New York Times, the most prestigious, most read thing in all of America. And the fact that they brought it through them and the people, I'll say this, and the people that brought this to said people that they knew had connections in the New York Times, like Leslie Keane and all these, and that they would have specifically brought that to them, knowing what they're doing, that they could get those videos released out if they wanted to create a whole topic that everybody's focused on.
Yeah.
Which is interesting as well. Ron, you got any star shit for us? Or are you not doing?
I've been looking into a few things. I was making a joke about us probing deeper into Uranus. But that is actually true.
Are you fucking serious?
It is, yeah. We are trying
Uranus.
Yes.
I can't say that planet's name without making
That's why a lot of scientists call it Uranus.
No. Scientists, you're scientists, you fucking say it right. Uranus.
You know what you named that planet.
Yeah, dude.
Now probe the shit out of it.
Uranus.
But that is actually a real one that they are in the process of right now, is creating something that can like not survive, but that can actually withstand dramatic temperature changes and everything on
Uranus hot or cold? Ron.
That's a good fucking question.
Just take a feel.
Take a feel, huh? Take a feel of Uranus. So
for those of you guys that aren't seeing us, he's actually feeling down his pants.
Oh boy.
It's cold.
Minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, that's cold. All right.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But I wanted to try to find the article.
So that's weird, though, Ronnie. What's up? I literally, I'm a little bit of a dumbass with this stuff. I know that if things are so hot, they'll melt the metals and whatnot.
Yeah.
But cold affects it. I thought if you had something flying in outer space, which is freezing anyway, and that
it's a vacuum of space.
You're kind of good. Like the cold is that you can't get too close to that either, huh?
Machinery, anything that is like very fine tuned or have any kind of heat conduction, anything like that that's going down onto a planet for a very long period of time, obviously might have some trouble, like actually moving
on the planet. I get
on
that.
The planet itself. Just going through a vacuum of space where it's not having to traverse terrain or anything like that.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That makes sense.
So, I wanted to try to find this fucking article.
Well, this is what some good prep is for. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
a little bit of prep before the ep.
It's okay.
I call it prep for the ep.
Yeah, I just I like to go on a whim and really improvise anything that I do.
We're a work in progress podcast. That's gonna be our new name in 2 weeks when we change it for a bit of both worlds.
Yeah, probing Uranus. Well,
Big Daddy Grusch all up in Uranus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Honestly, I found the article and, dude, just the name of the article. It's back from 2019, to be honest. They're saying we won't actually even probably make it to Uranus until 2040. A long way out there. But the title of the article is NASA rumored to be about to probe deeper than ever into Uranus.
All right, fuck the science talk. That was pretty good anyway.
Yeah. You're welcome.
That's great. That's pretty great, dude.
No, lately I've just been kind of looking up just silly things, you know. Like there's a new picture from the James Webb Telescope that shows like one of the faintest galaxies that could be from the earliest stints of our solar system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, but there's just not a whole hell of a lot of information on that kind of stuff.
Life on the moon, Bong?
I did see an article recently about there possibly being microbial life on the moon. Yeah. They're not 100% sure yet, but that is also another thing that the Artemis mission is for.
Did you ever hear about how they...
Although they did recently find that we might have a second moon to Earth. It is another asteroid that has fallen within...
About?
Yeah. It's an asteroid or something that has fallen into our orbit and will occasionally get kind of far out, but still get sucked right back in. I almost make it look like we have a second moon. Nothing that's visible to our eye, you know, like naked, but let me, I'll pull that article up.
Ronnie, what are these people all about that will go all crazy about how they step outside and see two suns?
What?
That's a thing.
Is that a thing?
And on a conspiratorial podcast that talks about aliens, I do like to kind of plant my feet and say that I'm not as crazy as a lot of other people, like flat earthers or lizard people, or these people, Ronnie, that say they go outside and they see two suns in the sky.
I've never heard of that.
Never heard of that. I'll send you some stuff.
Okay.
Maybe
that's something we can talk about
it's
on the
fun.
next episode. That'd be cool.
It's fun to look at.
It is.
Even though it's shit.
So here it is. They call it a quasi-moon. Discovered near Earth. It looks like it's been traveling alongside our planet since 100 BC. But we just identified it in 2023. So space rock orbiting the sun nearly in tandem with Earth. It is an asteroid that tags along yearly around the sun. Could be considered a quasi-moon or quasi-satellite.
Satellite?
But it is just a fucking piece of an asteroid. That's just hanging out. About 50 feet in diameter. Roughly equivalent to 3 large SUVs.
Well, that's not really a moon.
They consider it. That's why it's a quasi-moon. But it is within our orbit just like the moon is. And you know the history of our moon, right?
What's the history of the moon?
How it's technically a chunk of Earth. We were hit by a very large asteroid before even dinosaurs or anything were here. And it took off a chunk of Earth, which has created what we now call the moon.
Then how does that chunk and our planet form back into being round?
Who knows? Maybe the moon isn't round. Some people don't even believe in the moon.
Ronnie, you ever heard about...
Some people think that we have a dome above us and space is fake.
That's crazy shit. But Ronnie, you ever heard about how they fucking stuff bounces off the moon and sounds like a ding? And
I haven't heard of that either.
No, that's actually more like a very kind of real thing that astronauts and stuff have said, that it sounds like it's like metal on it, like, and then it's just like covered with some rocks and stuff, like it's a fucking thing, like where you stuff bounces over, doom, and it rings like a bell,
kind of hollowish.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That's pretty.
I'm not a hollow earther, Ron, but I am a hollow mooner, maybe. I might be a hollow mooner, though.
So here's what it's called. It's called the fission theory. Theory proposes that the moon was once part of the Earth and somehow separated from the Earth early in the history of the solar system.
We're going
the present Pacific Ocean basin is the most popular site for the part of the Earth from which the moon came. So they're pretty much saying that the part of our world that is mainly ocean and so vast and deep that we can't get to, anything like that, could be where the chunk of the moon was taken off of in the early parts of the solar system. Yeah, that's why there's not like a crater. Technically, our ocean would be the crater.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
Oh, and it just knocked off a perfectly rounded piece of thing, huh?
Yeah, about 60 to 175
You know, Ronnie,
million
sometimes
years
like
after
the
the
stuff
Earth
that's
was
like
formed.
in the scientific journals and like the most is like just as crazy sounding as other shit.
It really is. I mean, dude, our universe is fucking crazy in general. There is a planet that is made entirely of gas. Like, bro, this shit's just weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes when I hit up that guy, you know, our friend Jorge that runs the taco cart, and he gives me like those fucking 7-pound burritos.
Dude, those things are awesome.
And I give him some beers. He gives me like the 7-pound. Sometimes I create a fucking gas planet in my bathroom afterwards. So, dude, they're good. But...
I've been looking, like I said, I've just been looking at really silly kinds of things lately, like Kepler 22b is supposedly a, I think it was Kepler. It's one that has rings like Saturn.
Okay.
But it's so fucking much bigger, like the ring expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure it was Kepler 22b. I just want to... Don't give me Saturn. Why would you... Wow.
People,
you know what?
I will say this. People definitely appreciate you in the moment looking stuff up.
Oh,
on the phone,
yeah,
not
bro. I
having
mean,
it
hey,
prepared
you
beforehand.
want information
I
or do you
think-
want me to just fucking go
that-
off my own brain? Because that don't work.
I
all the
mean, you
time.
could have it prepared first.
I could, but I'm just... It's not how I roll. It's just not how I do things, Tom. Nah. Yeah. So I was wrong. It's not Kepler. You can't pronounce this one. It's just J.
No, we've done this before. Welcome to the segment. Welcome to the segment.
Oh, you want me to
This is the
pronounce
best segment on this
It's
show.
not a word.
When Ronnie has to pronounce scientific words and fucking do it right now.
It's not a word.
Just go for it.
J1407b. It's not a word.
Well, that's not even fucking pronouncing. So what do you
That's what I'm
mean?
saying. I was looking at it and I'm like, is that a 1 or an I? But it's a 1. It's okay.
Well, the last time
But
we did that
J14
segment and you were scared to do it, I think you nailed it, actually.
That's
So
fair.
I really
I mean,
wanna
that
have
could be
one-
my new... I can just fucking look
That's
up
a
really hard...
segment thing.
All right, I'm gonna fucking look up
All right,
really
let's
hard
do this.
scientific
We're gonna
words.
actually make this a segment, maybe if you guys like it at the end. We're gonna do this as a segment.
Okay.
Welcome to Ronnie pronouncing hard words.
Yeah. We'll see what I can find here.
Let's get it, Moon Boy. What you got?
Oh, heterozygous.
What else?
Well, heterozygous.
No, don't scan through them and go to ones you're more comfortable. Go
Well,
with
I
the
mean, there's
one you're
eukaryote.
the most
I'm scanning the
uncomfortable.
ones that I know how to say.
I know. Go to the most uncomfortable ones.
Oligosaccharide. I mean sugar. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah, how sweet.
Wow.
Yeah. Angiostenosis. I know those ones. I know medical words. Those are easy.
Yeah, go to a very uncomfortable one.
Yeah, I'm looking. Trust me.
Oh, you're so smart.
No, it's not even that. It's just like, oh, what's some hard words? And I'm like, ferocious.
This is America, after all. You know what I'm saying? We don't really, like...
Here, now we're getting somewhere. All right. Don't give me that. Don't even. All right. Polysaccharide. This is where we're getting some good ones. Okay,
let's
here's an
try.
acid.
Oh, welcome to Ronnie pronouncing hard shit. Let's do it. Go for it. Jump right in. The water's warm.
Ethylene diamintetracetic acid.
I love it. Let me see the word now.
It's this really fucking long one.
Let me see.
What kind of word is that?
Ethylenidic.
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 I don't think there's an M in there.
Oh, there's a fucking M right in the middle of it.
That's
and you missed it. You fucking failed, dude. Yeah. That's a good. All right, this is a good segment.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Oh boy.
Folks, we're putting together some good ones next time. Okay, we're gonna give you
some of the hardest words to say. Antarctic. I feel like the person who writes these articles is fucking retarded. I mean, wow. Oh, but anti-disestablishmentarianism is supposed to be hard to say.
We're going to do an episode on that. Yeah. Ronnie, how do you feel about doing an episode that I give you stuff to look at so you're well-versed beforehand?
I don't like it.
But about
I live my life in a stream of ignorance.
About all the disinformation regarding UFOs.
I will look at
people have died from it.
I will look at that.
People have been killed themselves and things when our government has
want to know why I'll look at it?
To them.
You want to know why I'll look at that?
Famous case, Paul Benowitz. You guys have looked that.
I've heard that name. Now you want to know?
Me,
probably. Want to know why I'll look it up? It's because it's for your segment, not mine.
Ronnie wants to do his on the whim.
Oh man, my brain works very well under pressure.
Well, at least we can make up a new thing now where we do Ronnie pronouncing our shit. What would be really cool is if I find them.
Find the words. Yes, find words. I'll try to pronounce them.
Okay.
Now, to all the viewers at home that do know me in person, you know my brain works very well under pressure.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's not the way I would describe you.
Yeah, I am cool as a cucumber, calm and collected.
Melt under pressure.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright.
I am the epitome of calm.
Alright, you guys. Well, it's been good to have Ronnie back for this one. That's for goddamn sure.
Now, you don't know if I'm going to be here next week.
You're going to be here next week.
Who knows? I'm a POS. You remember that.
An absolute POS.